Hey everybody, this is Liz from I Do Mindset Coaching. Good morning to you. I'm here with my morning coffee. I wanted to do another coaching video for you, for your education, for your entertainment, for your consideration. This is going to be on my model of the three minds. The subconscious likes working in sort of metaphysical dream language. And this way, it turns out, given internal family systems and different psychological models, that three minds is really a great way to think about it. So I'm going to present my model, and it works when you're healing the subconscious and working with the paradigm, working to undo the ill-serving parts. There are other models that work too, and enjoy them. I just want to present mine. So especially if you're coaching with me, this will really work. And I have a slideshow here, so I have a slide deck. So let me get to the slide deck and share my screen. All right. So here we are with the screen, as you can see. Hold on, let me see if I can get to it. You are screen sharing. Let's see. Okay, so here we are with my screen, and let me make it. I'm an intuitive success coach. Obviously, you can see that. What I'm going to do is take you to the three minds, and I work with the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the superconscious mind. So let's look at the next one. I use the model of the iceberg because I learned it in the military and I like it. The idea that the iceberg, where the conscious mind is the stuff we know and think about on a day-to-day basis, that's above the water, the part of the iceberg that's above the water. Whereas the subconscious mind is that deep undiscovered, that big undiscovered country that's underneath the water. All right. And then we actually have the superconscious mind. Superconscious mind, I kind of consider like your God self, your higher self, God, if you will, Holy Spirit. We talk about it in different ways. So, but superconscious mind actually works through the subconscious mind. We're going to talk about all of that. And I just want to explain why it is I work with the paradigm and the subconscious mind. A long time ago, I realized that being in the helping professions where I help people feel better is the best place for me to be. So that's why my site's called feelingbetter.space, obviously. But I found that as much as people want to do the workout, get healthy, do the thing, do the right thing, talk to their people in loving, kind ways, or set their boundaries properly, we have this programming going on that hampers us, that drags us down. It's like, how to say it? It's almost like you try to do good, but the subconscious parts of you, there's a program running, and there might even be dissociated parts. We're going to talk about that in a minute. There might even be dissociated parts or part of your subconscious programming that I call the paradigm, that pulls you back because it wants you to be safe and to stay alive, and to do something new and wonderful is kind of scary. So it's why we have self-sabotage programs and stuff like that. So a lot of the work I do is in the subconscious mind, but we work through the superconscious. Okay. So those are the three minds I work with. Now let's talk about the conscious mind first. The conscious mind is your intellect. It's your education, as I like to say. It's your knowledge. It's your learning. You originate ideas here of what to do. Oh, let me call her. Let me do this. Let me do the thing. Let me do that, whatever. Let me pay the bill. Let me, do the workout, whatever we want to do, right? Let me call her, him. Let me have this conversation. And this is where we choose ideas. And this is where we decide on things. It's at the conscious mind level where we can refuse things and accept things, right? We have a choice. Do we want to stand up to whatever? Do we want to roll over and take this? Do we want to, go to school? Do we not want to go to school? I'm trying to decide, should I take a 300-hour yoga teacher training? I'm going to decide that today. Do I want to do it? Do I not? Right. So we get the conscious mind is what, you're listening to me right now. In my conscious mind, I'm doing this video for you. All right. When do I get up in the morning? When do I go to work? Do I put on the orange socks today? Right. Stuff like that. The subconscious mind is where your heart center is. It's the level of emotion and what I call the paradigm. The paradigm is basically a shorter term for what I call the subconscious programming. It's the paradigm. It's your habits, it's your beliefs, it's your body memory, it's patterns, traumas, where traumas sit. And if you have dissociated parts, that little pieces of you, we call soul fractions, we call them all kinds of things, whether you're coming from a more psychological framework or you're coming from a shamanic energy, new consciousness framework. But the paradigm are all the things that don't, your paradigm is, I would call all those habits. Some of them are really good, like how to use a pencil, a pen, how to play the guitar without thinking about where the D chord is, where the A chord is, how to be naturally kind to other people or naturally take care of ourselves with boundaries. Okay. So but I want to help people begin to dissolve the neural structures and the memory structures that are part of the ill-serving parts of the paradigm, the parts that sabotage us. You go to the gym and then you start going to the gym. You try to eat clean for whatever that means to you, and then you stop. You just break it because your paradigm's like, no, 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 don't do anything different. You know, I remember in the movie Finding Nemo when the Dory character says, you know, if Nemo doesn't do anything, you know, nothing's ever going to happen to him. And it's very true in life. Like, it's scary. You know, Nemo's dad wanted to keep him away from the reef because he wanted him to stay safe and alive from his own trauma, right? You know, that seminal psychological film, Finding Nemo. Anyway, this is where our dissociative parts live in the subconscious. This is where the archetypes are for our soul journey, programming, self-sabotage. I think you get the drift. So this is where I like to work. It's been my life mission to help people kind of get into the subconscious and begin to rewire and heal and feel better. That's kind of my life term, like just help people feel better. I'm not promising that you're going to have the most amazing, glorious life. You can, especially if you coach with me, but I just want you to feel better. At the very least, feel better. Like I said, this is where the emotional heart lives. If you actually sit and meditate and think and think and think and ponder and ask and ask and ask for truth, you can begin to, the subconscious can begin to show you your deep desires of what your life mission is, of what you want to do. Like I'll talk to my clients and I'll say, you know, what did you want to do when you were 5? How did you play when you were 4, 5, and 6? Or what is it? I have many coaching stories of helping people find their best, their right life, how to do it. The interesting thing about the subconscious mind is that when the conscious mind thinks enough of something, thinks a thought long enough. Remember, Ralph Waldo Emerson said, you know, you become what you think about all day long. There are many, many quotes. Like Henry Ford has said, you know, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. It's very true. Like if you have a belief system, well, that's going to be your belief system, and your subconscious is going to reach out to the superconscious mind, universal intelligence, God, source, if you will, and make that true for you. If you think you're going to be a failure, well, guess what? You get to be a failure. If you think you're going to be a success, guess what? You get to be a success. And that's where the coaching comes in, or at least someone's own personal work. The subconscious mind must accept any thought this conscious mind feeds it long enough. It cannot say no, whether it's right or wrong, whether it's true or not, right? And the subconscious mind loves repetition. The subconscious mind has its paradigm that's pretty solid. That's why when we do affirmation work and all kinds of auto-suggestion, you need a lot of repetition, because the subconscious mind is like, yeah, you're saying you're successful, but you have a huge failure rate here. We're going to go with that. Just because you said you're success once, yes, so. But then when you do enough repetition, the subconscious mind goes, oh, okay, and begins to change the paradigm. That's just one way to talk about it. But 96%, 97% of you is run by the subconscious mind. That's why the part of the iceberg under the water is so huge. It's where your inspiration comes from. It's where your reality, it creates your reality. So if you believe something to be true, by golly, it'll be true. It's so true, guys. I've been on both sides of the coin. I've been on the, like, well, what am I even here for? And I've been on, well, I'm here anyway. I may as well be a success. So that's where I'm currently living. But I've been in the place before, like, as I say, as a Christian pastor, you know, I've been on Job's ash heap many, many times, where I'm like, well, what are we all here for? Where Job's wife says, you know, curse God and die. And I've chosen to be successful. And here we are, right? And I just thank you for hearing me. So the thing is, your conscious mind is the gate. If you don't curate, if you don't control what goes into the subconscious mind, it's going in. Even the water cooler talk at work. If you're hearing gossip, can you believe she didn't? If you hear that long enough and you don't say, hey, self, you know, scratch that. Don't listen to that at all. It may, if you hear it long enough, your subconscious may hear what even the gossip about others and think it's true for you. So it's really important to watch what you think. And that's why I coach. Only think about what you want all day long. Think about who you want to be all day long. You think about your goals. Who do you need to be to achieve those goals? You think on those things. It sounds so campy and corny, but it's true. Next slide. And also I want to point out briefly that it's very challenging not to look at your 5 senses, you know, see, hear, taste, touch, smell, and get as a readout and think that's you. The readout that you get, let's say, you know, your bank account says $8, or your lover just left you, or you have the health issue, or you have this issue, and you're doing work you don't like stuff. You look at that and go, well, this is my life. As you think on that and as you're so unhappy about that, your subconscious is like, oh, okay, she's happy living in this situation. We're going to bring more of that. The five senses are simply for your enjoyment and for your protection and for information. It's telling you, it's like a readout device for the life you've already created. Life is not happening to you, it's happening through you. Whether you believe that or not. I mean, just if you're watching me, or if you're my client, I ask you to believe it if you're working with me. It's not to decide who you are or what your limits are. You don't go, well, I'm just poor because I only have $8. I'm not saying spend money you don't have, but I am saying you can just say, no, that's a life I already created, that I'm already experiencing. What I'm going to choose to do right now is think about what I want. I want to have, maybe earn 10,000 a month or 100,000 a month or whatever your goal is. You can begin to think on those things. It may or may not happen tomorrow, but if you continue to think on these things, you'll be much more prosperous. So I want to point out that as you see that reality, it's a very important concept to begin to not look at your 3D reality out there. That's a readout device for your prior thinking, the thinking you did yesterday, last month, last year. If you continue to think that way and let it discourage you, you're going to create more of it. If you begin to go, I know that's been my life, but now I'm going to move forward and go be successful. Like I said, you're here, you may as well be successful, and you can be, right? I know this is a very quick little video, but I just want to point these things out. And I also want to do a little bit of a talk about the conscious mind, like how to use the higher faculties of your conscious mind. I'm going to call the higher faculties these: reason, will, imagination, memory, perception, and intuition. All right. We often use these 6 higher faculties kind of poorly because we haven't been taught. We think things, oh my gosh, well, the world just sucks. Corporations are evil. The world's evil. It's just no way to make it in this world. All the rich people are evil. We can be thinking these thoughts. And like I said, you become what you think about all day long. You could use your reasoning to think about the bad and think about the past and the very bad, no good, very bad days and people that you've known. Or you can use your reason to go, well, that was my past. That's interesting. And you kind of go neutral with it. You think, well, interesting. Okay, what's next? But you begin to think, how can I create a beautiful future for myself or my people, my family, my loved ones, my animals, my world? We can use our reason for the positive and for the good. Okay. You can use your will. You can use your will to kind of get that discipline where, okay, I'm going to do my process. I'm going to do my affirmations. I'm going to do my auto suggestion that Liz, at least if you're working with me, is telling you to do. I'm going to get up and do it. I'm going to make myself do it. I'm going to exercise at least 15 minutes. I'm going to make myself do it. Andrew Carnegie worked with Napoleon Hill, and I forget the name of the book at this moment. I have it on my Kindle, but it talks about the biggest barrier to success for people is lack of self-discipline. We just don't have the discipline to, get up and do the workout, to eat clean, to do the healthy things, to go to PT, to do what we need to be doing. The will is not the strongest of the highest faculties. The will doesn't last forever. That's why you go to the gym in every January and with your will, but it doesn't last. Some of these others are stronger, but you can certainly use the will for your best and highest good. Now, imagination, we imagine disaster and trouble instead of imagining what we want all day long. Like basically, if you use all these higher faculties to think about what you want and who you want to be and who you would need to be to have those goals, you would do very well and you'd be successful. Instead of imagining, oh my gosh, today's going to be really terrible. The boss is this and she's going to say that, he's going to, and oh my gosh, the thing in the car problems. You can just imagine what you want. You need to do your dailies. You need to pay the bill, go to work. I get it. But use your imagination all day long for what you want. Think about the new car, the new home, the spouse, the partner, the lover, the experiences you want to have, the travel, the vacations, the daily life, your daily schedule that you want to have. Do you want to be living in a house on the beach? Do you want to be living up in the mountains? Do you want to have your house in North Carolina? That's where I have. I'm quite content at the moment. Imagine what you want all day long. And memories, we really use our memories as kind of a failure mechanism. A lot of times we remember the bad in that. Oh, she said, he said, and the thing that happened, and the divorce, and the betrayal, and the death, and the terrible things, and the life cancellation, the culture, the cancel culture, the problems in the world. And we have these memories. And yes, they're true. I'm not trying to take away the true of them. It's just, why not go to the good things? Go to your wedding day, if it was a good memory. Go to the birth of a child. Go to your best day ever, the great vacation. Think on those things. And when you get to the feeling place of that, you can move forward. Again, use all these higher faculties for your best and highest good. Don't go, oh my God, because you'll bring on more, oh my God, if you keep thinking like that. Then perception. You can use perception for, you can change your worldview. You can just think about what you want all day long. You can frame the world as any way you want. You can think of it as a stinky, I was talking to a client yesterday who still feels like the world's a pretty stinky place, and he's functioning out of that. It's his worldview. He's only in his 20s, and he's not maybe ready to understand that, yes, there's perhaps a bad part of the world, but you can begin to create a beautiful place for yourself. You can bracket and frame the world any way you like. You can, appreciate that you live in a nice home, or appreciate the goodness that you have, the job that you have. The world is what you make it, and you can perceive it and frame it any way you want. You can think it's a bad place. And my client yesterday was like, but it is. Like, no, the world is how you make it. No, the world's a really bad place, but his perception isn't wide enough. And he may get there, but you can begin to use your perception and think about and see the world. You can change your perspective and change and see the world any way you want. There are many, many beautiful things about the planet. There's beautiful nature. There's beautiful, kind, lovely people. And you could be thinking on these things, right? And your intuition. We don't even develop our intuition. It's a very important, like, superpower that a lot of us don't have. We all have the skills. Some of us are, more have a sense of knowing. I'm a knowing person. I'm not a seer. I don't want to see stuff, but I have a knowing of what's right, and an intuition and a drop. So I throw tarot cards on occasion. And when I use the intuition to see, and I use a pendulum, and I muscle test for my healing sessions. But we can use these higher faculties for good. Basically, the point of this is use the good memories, imagine good things. And it may sound like you have a little bit of an imposter syndrome at first, but if you do it long enough, you'll begin to believe it, and then you'll begin to have a beautiful day. And then it begins to change your paradigm in the subconscious mind. All right. So I just want to talk about these things today. We'll talk about the other pillars, the other slide there that you might see later on, but I wanted to do a brief video on the three minds. Again, the conscious mind is what we function with day to day. You're listening to me, listening to your conscious mind. You're getting in the car and going to work, or going shopping, or deciding what to get for Christmas, and this and that, using the conscious mind. The subconscious is that great undiscovered country that has all those patterns and habits. And that, by the way, is where the dissociated parts live. I'm going to talk about internal family systems at some point in another video. And the superconscious mind is that subconscious connection to infinite intelligence. That's what creates your world. If your paradigm, if your subconscious believes it to be so, whether you are a success or a failure or somewhere in between, your subconscious will make it so by pulling in opportunities and skills and support from other worlds and from out there. It's really, really true. When you begin to work from the hardness of life, you have to work hard in this 3D reality to make life happen. And you begin to move into a flow with ecstasy and bliss, where you just have an intuitive sense of what's next, or opportunities present themselves, or people present themselves, new friends, opportunities, people to work with, people to hire, people to work for, just come into your life in a sense of flow. But that's all I have for you now. I just wanted to go over my sense of the three minds, so at least my clients have this to review. And anyway, if you're interested in me, I have my details are below, and I just wanted to bless you today. There's many, many free resources on the web. Go enjoy yourself all over YouTube. But if you're here on this channel, I wanted to point out this concept of the three minds, and have a beautiful and blessed day. Bye.